Hello everyone, it's me again, GW Fan the Softcore Brony, and this dungeon is as dead as a tomb on Let's Play Philly Fantasy 6. I don't regret your inevitable facepalm, but anyway, as you can clearly see, I have rearranged the party's order for some reason. Basically, well, yeah, we're going to be fighting a boss. And at the beginning of said fight, we are, well, more or less going to be starting with full ATB gotchas. I mean, not exactly, but it might as well be. So whenever that happens, the fourth character always goes first, and I want Cadence to be doing stuff first. And, well, in this order here. Dash, I'm actually going to be having hang out a little bit because I have my equipment reset with Dash with the wing shoes and the flight suit there. As you can see, I also have every pony equipped with some form of ice elemental protection. I suppose I could have equipped every pony with sapphire rings, but the blue chaperons are more like a... well, actually, all the ice protection is more like a backup defense. As I have Cadence equipped mostly for, well, like everything she can to have maximum speed, or as much as she can there. Because she's going to be purely on defense, as is Princess Celestia, who's also equipped with Masquerade. Which is also what I'm going to use the gold hairpin for, though of course you could just replace that with the sapphire ring, or something else. If you don't happen to have that. But otherwise, the other important thing we need to note is actually my bits. Yes, I have a lot of them, but most notably we need to focus on the very last digit there, which in my case is a 4. Why that is important is because at the beginning of the next boss fight, well, the boss is going to use annoyingly, a rare lore that Rarity could have learned, but she can't possibly be in the party, but yeah, it's going to use a lore called Level Question Holy. It is very similar to like level 5 Doom or level 4 Flare, except that the level that it affects changes depending, oddly enough in this case, on the last digit of your bits. Since my last digit is 4, any character that is a multiple of level 4 will be affected by it, which, well, I'm not. If any of your characters are, then equip them with the, I think it was the Emerald Ring, isn't it? That is the Cure Magic, because that nullifies Holy. So that'll help. Actually, I only have 1. Wow. That would have been bad if I didn't. Maybe I should have gotten more of those, but, well, I wasn't. Even if you don't have those, you can always fight a battle or two to change the bits. So, yeah, that'll help right there. So, in any case, here lies Spitefire. Oh. And randomly there's a boss guarding her. We don't really know why, it just is. Dullahan, he will always start off with this, and this is why we have full ATB gauges. And first things first, Cadence, Runic, please. You summon, I didn't do that right. Give the Lunar Aura, and Cadence, Runic. Dash, wait until you get defense up, because whenever you use dive, she will basically go before anyone else's turn. So otherwise, Celestia and Cadence are just going to be sitting there until something happens like this. This guy uses Ice 2 and Ice 3, and Gust, as you can see, but more importantly, he uses the Death Spell. Nice dash. Yeah, more importantly, he uses the Death Spell, which in this mod is not affected by Reflect, or ignores Reflect. He just flashed there. It looked like he did something weird for a moment, but yeah. Yeah, that's why I want Runic, because we don't really have any way of, well, protecting ourselves from death otherwise. Dive. Otherwise, I believe he can use Dispelga, which I think he will only do if you cast or under the float status, but I'm surprised he hasn't used more physical attacks yet. Yeah, between Dash and Luna, we can do plenty of damage there. Bam. Of course, he's weak to Holy and Fire, which is why I have Luna equipped like that. Yeah, once he does, like, well, almost 700 points of damage, I'll want to resummon if necessary. Usually he does a lot more physical attacks than this. And yeah, he's not considered undead, which is why he casts Cure 3 there. Nice, Luna! Oh, oh yeah, summon! Oh. Thank you for avoiding that. Sheesh. Oh, it doesn't matter if Dash is on the ground when you use that. It'll protect anyone regardless. And Runic. And waiting for Luna there, if I don't kill this guy soon. Okay, we're good, we're good. I don't feel the need to summon for that. Oh, he's dead already. Wow, that was a lot faster than I was expecting. Let's see, is there anything else notable about this guy? I don't think there is. I think I mentioned everything about him. Although, I think he could actually also use another stupidly rare lore that Rarity can learn that you actually can't find until the final dungeon called Reflect triple question mark. But even if Rarity was here, it's a totally useless lore anyway, so. And we open that up, and just in case I get into a battle on the way. Oop, did not. Okay, awesome. Is this the only time we can hear this music? It might be. Does it? Oh, nope, like that. Really? You think I can't handle the truth? Okay. How come we could run so fast right there? Normally we're not able to run there even if you have the sprint shoes in the original. That was kind of weird. Yeah, you're still a cadet, but I'm going to depend on you and you alone to rebuild the Wonderbolts if we all die. No pressure now. Ah. Dash. And we go automatically. They're flying fast, that's for sure. I guess that's what the other airship looks like. Airships are awesome! I'll never use my wings again! Stop doing loopity-loops, or loop-de-loops. Loopity. Whatever. I thought she wasn't going on the mission. Anyhow, as you, well, might expect with the mission there and the fact that they're all dead, well... This is the point where I feel that the game kind of, well, inadvertently explains why the Empire did not choose to use an Air Force until they did. Because, well, it's obvious what happens, you know, I mean, I'm not spoiling anything. They're all, I mean, we're in their frickin' tomb! It could. Ah. Oh, so there are other cadets, but after everyone died, Dash was so distraught that she just let them, she just didn't bother to rally them. Great. Yeah, obviously bad things happen, but as far as I've, well, rationalized in my head as to how this all went down, basically, the Wonderbolts are the best flyers in Equestria, right? So obviously they did really, really well, but were overwhelmed by numbers. That's the only way they were taken down. However, since they're good flyers, they managed to do massive damage to the Empire's Air Force, and thus they had to spend some time repairing it, and they weren't ready until the whole floating continent thing came around, so that's what I figure about that. I think it makes perfect sense. Yep. No survivors. Although it does kind of leave a little bit of a plot hole in my mind, because the Wonderbolts are essentially, I mean, they are the Air Force of Equestria, and they're essentially under the command of Princess Celestia, right? I mean, they're not exactly a private or whatever force there. You know, they're not on their own making their own decisions. You know, they work under Princess Celestia, right? So if that's true, how did they fight the Empire while Celestia managed to retain her identity of being neutral in the war? That was my question in all this. You built it back together piece by piece, huh? Jeez. You are a good mechanic. But is it really her ship? I mean, yeah, you built it with the same parts, but does that really make it the same exact ship? Surely you must have had to get some replacement parts. Ah. She called it? I kind of like the original name from the, well, original better, the Falcon. I mean, it's alright. I don't, like, detest the name Thunderbolt, although it does match the name of the spear that we have, which is kind of weird, but... Ah. Alright, I didn't screw up rebuilding it! Ah, yes, and now, if we so choose, we can raid Discord's Tower, the final dungeon. However, yeah, we need to find our friends, which is purely optional. Despite the fact that I do love the story of Final Fantasy VI, and I personally view it as one of the best in the series. Maybe not the absolute best, but one of the best. This is where the plot comes to a screeching halt, because there's a whole bunch of dungeons and what have you that we can go and do that are all purely side quests. And so, yeah, the plot just, you know, stops while we're doing it. I know that bird! It's the same one! It must be! Because I said so. Follow that bird, darn it! Because where there are birds, there must be Fluttershy! Well, no, not really, not in this case, but... Hey, following animals, you gotta lead to Fluttershy at some point, right? I'm listening to my princess senses. And we're moving automatically here. Although, I will be going to this town. It's kind of intended to be the next place you're supposed to go. Which I will. But I'm not actually going to be, well, I guess you could call it plot-relevant events. Even though it's not part of the main plot. But yeah, we're here in Baltimore. I've already looted it of everything from before. And this still costs the same. Whoa, you are hyper. Ah, the Opera House. Yeah, there's a side quest we can do there, but I'm not going to do that immediately. Really? A monster? I see. So, is that the reason, like the real reason that Chrysalis is flying around, like I said, back in Manhattan? Or was she already gone, which means the show would have already basically been ruined? And that guy's hyper. Oh yeah? I suppose I don't have to talk to every pony right now, but Say, we heard that elsewhere as well, back in, what, Appaloosa, I think? Was it Appaloosa? No, it was a different town, wasn't it? Well, whatever. Oh, I see. Ah, had a quirky accent. You mean like the little filly who's over in the house over there? Anyhow, I'm actually surprised how much money I have. Between this and the stuff I'm going to be able to sell in a moment, I actually have enough money to get everything that I want right now. For the time being. I'm actually going to be buying more later, but now, in this town alone, we have access to the adamant equipment, the best armor money can buy. Adamant Chaffron, I don't care, that's barely anything. Now, the adamant splint is relatively worthwhile. Above the golden splint, it has, I believe, a defense, 6 more defense and 7 more magic defense, which I find to be at least worthwhile. And we also have the adamant harness, which I'm not going to be bothering to buy since no one can equip it. And the adamant saddle, this is still weaker than the joust armor, so don't worry about that. But this, being as expensive as it is, you could potentially forego, because it's only, 7 physical defense more and 2 magic defense more than the golden equipment. I'm going to go ahead and buy it since I have the money for it, but you could forego this, being since it's so expensive and all. So now I can ditch my old golden equipment. I'll change the rest of my equipment later. Yeah, I just want to sell my old golden equipment real quick. So yeah, nice little defense boost. Well worth it, I suppose. Alrighty, sold all that and, re-equipped the party for the time being. Not that I really, I'm going to be keeping that as is. We'll be doing other stuff soon enough. Might as well talk to you. Oh, really? Actually, you know what? Let's talk to you a little later, because I'm kind of low on time there. Yeah? Oh, really? Aisha, or whatever the heck your name actually is. I don't know if that was like a sound he was making or what, but... Really? Well, we're not going to find out more about that just yet. What are you doing here? Oh, yeah? Huh. Actually, it is pretty special. Not quite the same as it was in the original, though. Now, here in the weapon shop, we have some new stuff. Golden sword, adamant sword, I don't care. Actually, I think in the original game, these both had the exact same attack power, which didn't make any sense. But here we have the golden claw, which is actually, I think it's unique to this mod, basically. I don't really care about it as a weapon in itself, but I do want to get 5 of these, as it is anyway, because we can trade this in at the Coliseum for, a slightly more expensive weapon that we can buy in the next town. So it'll save me a little bit of money just to do this instead. And otherwise, we get all this stuff, which... Oh yeah, there has been a mod update where these have been buffed a bit, although I haven't had too much experience with them, but they do seem a bit better now. So the only other stuff I want to purchase... Well, actually, before I even do that, while we're flying around here, I'm actually going to save state real quick, because there's a chance that we could run into Chrysalis while we're flying. It's just randomly sitting on a tile somewhere in the world. You can only fight her while you're in the airship. If I happen to accidentally run into her, and, she's a pretty tough boss at this point, although you can run away from her, I believe. But yeah, I want to come over here. The Opera House is in between these two towns, but this is the other major town that we can come to, Trottingham. Ah, still the westernmost town on the world map, and it is different. Here in this armor shop, there's, not quite unique equipment. We can get this over in Rainbow Falls as well. We got the beige, mahogany, and cerulean bits. These are wind, earth, and water elemental respectively. They protect you from... they cut elemental damage in half of their respective elements, and I think they can actually teach you, the basic like Gust and Wave and all that, but they're a little on the expensive side. I'm not going to get them just yet, though I will be buying them eventually. Otherwise, we have the weapons shop over here, which I'm actually not going to be buying anything at the present time, at least. Dice, don't ever bother with those. They're totally useless. Chrono darts are kind of interesting. You could actually trade these in for, well, let's say another pair of dice in the Coliseum. It's totally plausible at this point. Well, no, actually, I shouldn't say that. You can do it, but it's not fully plausible. I've managed to do it in, like, 3 times in a row, but I've also managed to fail the fight 40 times in a row, so I don't consider it to be fully plausible, although it is doable right now. Because you can further trade in those other dice for comet rings, but I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'll be buying these later since I'm just kind of saving my money at the moment. I'll be buying an extra trident and an extra thunderbolt eventually. I'll also be buying an extra dirt dagger and, well, because of the trident, I might not buy the tidal dagger, which is more or less the same thing, although it is a little stronger. So there is that. And otherwise, we have the jeweled sword. This is what I can trade in the golden claws for, is this, which, as you can see, is, well, a little bit more expensive. So I save a little bit of money on it, and the game paused on me. What the heck? So nothing from there. And otherwise, Relic Shop, we do have some new stuff here. This is the only place in the game to buy the power band, which I do, well, I figure I'll buy at least one more. And otherwise, we have this stuff, Pegasus, Earthen, and Unicorn Ring. These are essentially pure upgrades for the Gale Band, Mana Bangle, and was it the Stamina Ring, I think? Yeah, they're essentially exactly the same, except they protect you from their respective elements of wind, earth, and water. Well, cut the damage in half. And I think they also give a stat boost of like 5 instead of 3, like the original ones. And they otherwise still do the same thing. This gives an evasion boost. This actually boosts your HP by 25% instead of 12.5, and this boosts your MP by 25% instead of 12.5. So they could be useful. I'm not going to bother buying them. I don't think you can trade them into the Coliseum. You know what? I'll have to check on that, but I don't think you can trade them into the Coliseum for anything. Now, here in this town, we can also do something up at this house, but I'll save that for later. Oh, yeah? Otherwise, we still have the auction house here. It does have some new things. It has hero rings, and for some reason, Zephyr capes at a totally jacked up, not worth it price. And also has 2 new joke items, one being a mechanical spike, and the other one, oddly enough, being, annoyingly, a magicite that you can't get, called Megan, which, for those of you not in the know, is basically the initial human character of G1. I wouldn't say token human character, because there's actually more than one, eventually, once the first movie comes out, but, yeah, you can't get that. Lyra, hilariously, will always buy that. But anyway, there's still a lot more things that I want to do while I'm here, but even before I go back to the Coliseum there, well, actually, I guess I could go there now, but yeah, there's still other things that I want to do, which I'll save for next time on Let's Play Philly Fantasy 6. Arrivederci.